welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle, and this is the final video for March Mystery Madness. Can you believe it's March 31st already? This month went by so fast, and it was such a great March Mystery Madness. I hope you guys had a great month too, because I had a fantastic month. I read some great books, I watched some great content, I had fantastic co-hosts that put out great videos and did really fun things just to make March Mystery Madness so much better. So right now I want to give a big thank you to Elizabeth from LizziefayeLovesBooks for putting this all together and for having the idea for the theme this year. And I want to thank my wonderful co-hosts as well. I'm going to list them all in the description box below. And so yeah, it's just been so much fun. And I had so much fun making videos this month. I did a video every day because I'm counting my Saturday reading sprints as a video. So I did a video every day and it was just so much fun. So in this final wrap-up video, I need to tell you about 4 books that I have read since my previous wrap-up video. I want to tell you about the books that I'm in the middle of. And then I want to just share with you some fun statistics, some fun things, how many books I read, how many of them were library books, how many of them were books that I owned, and then some fun statistics about my videos, you know, about the top 5 videos based on views and stuff like that. So stay tuned, this is going to be a really fun wrap-up video. So let's start with the books that I read. I read Gone with the Twins by Kylie Logan. This is book number 5, I think, in the League of Literary Ladies series. This is a cozy mystery set in, oh, I always forget. It's set in the north, on Lake Erie. It's set on an island on Lake Erie. And so this is a fun, cozy mystery series. And I believe this is the last one, so it's a short series, which is always great, in my opinion. The main character is Bee, and she runs a bed and breakfast on the island. And then she has 3 friends who are part of the League of Literary Ladies. They get together to talk about the books that they're reading, which is another big draw for this series. In this one, Gone with the Twins, the eagle-eyed among you will have picked up on the fact that they are reading Gone with the Wind as their book that they're talking about. There is also a pair of famous twins who have bought a big house on the island called Tara, I'm never sure how to say that, and they've opened a rival bed and breakfast. And so that causes some of the problems. And then there is, of course, a murder. So this one was fun. I like this series. It's fun and lighthearted and cozy. The only problem that I have, and this is true throughout the series, but it seems to be really highlighted in this one, is Bee is just a tad too dramatic for me. If she could tone that down, I would like it a lot more. But yeah, this was a fun, cozy mystery. And then I also read the book from the vault. This was my Read Your Bookshelf Challenge book for March, was Old City Hall by Robert Rottenberg. This is set in Toronto. The author is himself a criminal lawyer in Toronto. And you can tell as you read this book because he knew stuff about kind of like the inner workings of the law system, which was very entertaining. But it was just a bit too procedural for me. So I'm gonna get to that in a second. Kevin Brace is Canada's most famous radio personality. And one morning, when his regular newspaper delivery person drops the newspaper at the door, Kevin opens the door and says, "I killed her." And that's how it starts. And so it starts right away with that, which is good. And then it goes through kind of literally everything. The police investigation, the two uniformed police officers who arrive on the scene and kind of, you know, take charge and do what needs to be done before the homicide detectives get there. But like, he goes into detail about what their job is, what they do. And that's the same throughout. So what does the homicide detective do? What does the coroner do? What does, and then we meet the defense attorney and the crown prosecutor. And it was very procedural. So if you like that, this could be the book for you because it is very procedural. The other advantage is that it's Canadian. So if you're an American who likes legal thrillers, you might want to give it a try and just see how, you know, what the Canadian legal system is like compared to the American one. There's slight differences. I loved how Canadian this book is. It was super, super Canadian. He wasn't ashamed of that. Most of the people that are characters in this book aren't originally from Canada, which is, I mean, that is, to be Canadian is to be an immigrant, right? Or part of an immigrant family. It's totally true. And so yeah, so there's that. There's all the Canadian companies he talks about. He talks about hockey a lot. And so yeah, it's very Canadian, but then he also takes the time when necessary to clarify things for a non-Canadian audience, which is helpful. There are 4 parts in the book. It starts in December and it ends in June. So it's in a kind of a short time frame. But with the procedural part, it handled the police investigation post-arrest, because the guy confesses, he gets arrested immediately. The bail hearing, and then the preliminary hearing. So what's interesting about this as a legal thriller or a courtroom drama is it never actually gets to the official trial, which I also found very interesting. The only thing I do want to say is there is some language and sex in here, which was a bit beyond what I like. But so yeah, you know, I liked it, but it was a bit too procedural for me. But if you really like that, this could be the book for you to check out. Old City Hall by Robert Rottenberg. Okay, and then I read A Murder, She Wrote, because why not? I love Jessica Fletcher. This is Killer in the Kitchen. It takes place in Cabot Cove, which I love. This was written by Donald Bain. And so in this one, there's a couple who decide to open a restaurant in Cabot Cove, and then a famous New York chef with kind of a chain of French bistros also decides to open one of his French bistros in Cabot Cove, and it causes all kinds of trouble. And I loved it. I love Jessica Fletcher. I love reading these because I can picture everything. Because I was such a huge fan of the show, I can picture the locations, I can picture the characters, the way they talk is right. All the characters are how you remember them from the show. And so it is just super comforting and familiar for me to read A Murder, She Wrote. And so, yeah, delightful. All right, and then I decided, kind of last minute, I found a book that I didn't realize when I bought it until I brought it home was technically a middle grade mystery. So I'm getting in at the last minute a middle grade March read, and this is Mystery of the Haunted Pool by Phyllis A. Whitney. This is from 1960, and this was fantastic. I don't read middle grade, but if this is exactly the kind of book that I loved when I was 11 and 12. And if I had read it when I was 11 or 12, I would have adored this book. I would have gotten it out from the library over and over and over again. It was so good. It's set in New York State on the Hudson River, and our main character is Susan, and she is fantastic. She was also totally a character that I could get behind. She loved reading, she was curious, she was kind. Yeah, it was just, I loved it. And for Phil, it had all the things that you love about Phyllis Whitney, just in a middle grade book. It was so fantastic. And there was one part in here, I just thought, if I was reading this when I was 11 or 12, I would have thought I found my soulmate in Susan. Susan curled up in an easy chair in one corner of the shop, lighting a lamp of lacy sandwich glass that had been adapted for electricity. She had reached an exciting place in the mystery she was reading, and she wanted to find out what happened before she went to sleep tonight. In a day or two, she would have to visit the library Aunt Edith had mentioned and take out a card. It always gave her an uncomfortable feeling to be running out of books to read. That's still true about me today. So yes, this was utterly delightful, and I'm so excited that I got in a book for middle grade March. And then a reread, this is number 3 in the Lady Eleanor Swift series by Verity Bright, A Witness to Murder. And this was also delightful. I loved it the first time, and I really enjoyed it this time. So a man gets murdered at a dinner party, and Lady Swift gets involved because the chef, the cook in the house, gets fired. And Lady Swift realizes that it was unjust, and so she gets involved. So it was a good mystery, but I also loved the side story in this one of the upcoming election, because the man who died was the member of parliament, so there has to be an election, and Eleanor Swift gets asked by the Women's League to run, and to run based on a platform of women's issues. And so it was just, it's a fascinating piece of history, because, and I said this when I read it the first time, in the video where I talked about this when I read it the first time around, she is 29 years old. So at this point in time, it's 1920, she cannot vote. Only women over 30 have the vote in 1920 in England. However, she is allowed to run for parliament. She is old enough. I can't remember what the age was. And I just thought that that was a bizarre thing, that she is old enough to run for parliament and yet not old enough to vote, which was crazy. Anyway, loved it, and I will be continuing with this series. Okay, so let's dive into some statistics for the month. I read 26 books. I think that's fantastic. I was kind of like subconsciously going for a book a day, and I didn't quite get there, but 26 books is pretty good. I read 23 books in print, 1 ebook, and I listened to 2 audiobooks, which is pretty good for me. I don't listen to audiobooks very often. 13 of the books that I read were from the library, and 12 were books that I owned. 1 was an e-arc, so I guess you could say I owned it, but I don't technically. Anyway, my favorite book of the month, hands down, was The Chuckling Fingers by Mabel Seeley. It was so atmospheric and fantastic. I loved it. Okay, so that was some general statistics. Oh, and if you're curious, I read 8 of the books from my pile of possibilities, and 1 I'm currently reading. So let's briefly talk about what I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading Night Watch by Stephen Kendrick, a long-lost adventure in which Sherlock Holmes meets Father Brown. I have about 150 pages left of this, so there's a possibility that I could finish it today and it would go on my statistics for March, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I've started The Leavenworth Case by Anna Catherine Green. I'm not super far into it, but I will continue with this one. And I've started Old Detective's Home by Mike Befeler, and this is proving to be very, very entertaining. Okay. And the one by Anna Catherine Green is the one that I'm currently reading from my pile of possibilities. Okay, here are some fun statistics about the videos that I put out this month. The top 5 most watched videos, and I base this solely on the views, the number of views. Number 5 is Old Stuff Day, and 410 views. Number 4 is the Sleuth by Type Senior Sleuths video with 412 views. Number 3 is Biblio Mysteries with 418 views. Number 2 is my week 3 reading wrap-up video with 435 views. And then number 1, my most watched video of the month, is Sleuth by Type Titled Detectives with 463 views. Now, of course, this is as of the time of filming, and I'm filming this on March 31st. So that could change, but as of today, that's my top 5 most watched videos, which I thought was really cool. My top 5 videos that got people talking, as in the ones that had the most comments, far and away is my giveaway video, which has 194 comments. Now, I'm not including that in this list because that is because people are listing the books that they have read through the month, and so that's not really about talking or discussion. So coming in at number 5 is my week 4 reading wrap-up with 48 comments. Number 4 is Senior Sleuths. It's a tie between Senior Sleuths and my week 2 reading wrap-up with 50 comments. Number 3, I'm bringing back the M&M game with 56 comments. Number 2, Biblio Mysteries with 57 comments. And my number 1 video that got people talking was Why Reread a Mystery, which I love because I called that a discussion video, and it really was. There were 65 comments about that one. So that is very, very fun. Okay, and then my top 5 most liked videos. Number 5, Would You Rather Historical Mystery Edition, and that is tied with my giveaway video with 59 likes. Number 4 is the week 3 wrap-up video, also tied with Senior Sleuths at 64 likes. Number 3, Old Stuff Day with 66 likes. Number 2, Titled Detectives with 67 likes. And number 1 is also a tie, Biblio Mysteries and week 1 wrap-up with 68 likes. So what's interesting to me here is there's a number of duplicates, but there's one video that is on all 3 of these top 5 lists, and that is the Biblio Mysteries video, which I think is very interesting. Now, I need to give an honorable mention to my art crime video because that one only came out yesterday. It hasn't even been out for 24 hours. And it already has 215 views, 35 comments, and 39 likes. So give it a few more days and it would definitely be in contention for these top 5 lists. I really do think that. My personal favorite video that I did for March Mystery Madness 2023, my favorites were the research videos that I did. I have so much fun doing that. And my most favorite research video was the Senior Sleuths. I had so much fun looking into that and realizing that there were senior sleuths in every decade between the 1930s and now. And it was a really, really fun video to research and to film. So that was my personal favorite video of the month. So there you have it. That is my final wrap-up for March Mystery Madness 2023. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's true, we're already here. I hope you had a fantastic March Mystery Madness. Let me know in the comment section what your favorite mystery was this month. I would love to know. And I'm also just curious, what was your favorite video that you watched that I put out this month? I'm just curious. And I will see you for another video soon.